like to welcome everyone to the Emmaus Borough Council meeting. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. This time out, personal appeals part 1. If you have a personal appeal, please state your name, what your appeal is, and you have 5 minutes for your appeal.
Okay, am I the first one?
Sure, just state your name and where you live.
My name is Joanne Adams. I'm on Harrison Street in Mass. I'm just inquiring about the grass pickup. Now you cut it back to 1 day instead of 2 days. And I'm wondering if I'm the only one that has voiced the fact that the Tuesdays was nicer than 1 day, because now if I keep things outside and it rains, you got a moldy bag, you get bags that might be soaked, and I can't always take everything up. So because sometimes they're heavy. I'm just saying, am I the only one? Because that was a real nice convenience to having the 2 days. And not only that, I think those guys they must have picked up a lot of bags over the
3 months ago.
the Monday and the Thursday.
Right, we changed that at the beginning of the year because there weren't enough people in the borough utilizing it for us to do 2 pickups a week because it took our men away from other projects. So we went to 1 pickup a week. The alternative is if you don't want them at your house, you can always drop them off at the compost site, but
Oh, I do. I can, but it's difficult for me to do it sometimes.
I understand, but I mean, that's the
And
alternative.
especially when it's 1 day, because I used to mow my lawn, I'm not doing it now, but I have somebody doing it because I can't walk too good. And I used to mow it in sections. I would mow it in 3 sections. So then, if I would mow it like Monday and they were already picked up, but that grass had to sit there the whole day, the whole week, till the
Right.
next Monday.
To answer your question, are you the only one? I think when we initially instituted it, we might have had a few residents, but I don't think we had any in a couple months.
Yeah, but we definitely had a few.
So people aren't bothering to say anything about it.
Just when we initially, at the beginning of the year, when we initially instituted it, or implemented it, there was only a handful of people that complained.
Well, unfortunately.
But they were told the same thing. As
Unfortunately,
I
that was
told
a nice
you-
Service, that was a nice service to the community. And now to go up to the dump like that with everything in your car.
You still have a
sometimes
pickup.
all-
It's just, if you mow it and it's just after they picked up, I mean, that's just bad timing, but you always have the option of taking it up to the compost center.
On average, it was 100 houses, it was same 100 houses a week.
So he said there's about 100 houses a week that utilize it
Only 100 houses a week.
Yeah,
out of the whole borough.
Community.
Yeah, and that's why we cut back to 1 pickup,
Out of-
because it was taking
yeah.
our public works away from other projects, and we have other priorities too.
That surprises me, but that's a shame because it was a nice service.
Well, we still have that service, but
Yeah, it was nice.
It's once a
service.
week. All right, thank you. Is there anyone else with a public appeal?
Richard Musselman, 945 Franklin Street, Emmaus. Last week, a pole was planted in my yard in the grass strip between my sidewalk and the curb. At no time was I informed that this would take place. At no time was my permission asked if I would allow that pole to be put in my yard. No letter, no email, no phone call, nothing.
Yep.
The solicitor will tell you that being on my property without my express permission could be construed as trespass. I know it's picky.
It was my understanding this is in the right of way, therefore it's not a trespass.
Well, my lawyer daughter said it could be construed as that.
Does she know where the right of way line is?
Yes, she does.
Who's
She's
your
the
daughter?
future owner of the property.
Who's your daughter?
Jenna, yeah.
You want to have her contact me, I'll look into it.
Okay, now,
It's
one more thing. As I look at this pole, it's not even properly placed in the yard. It leans to the west.
What is on the sign? I'm not aware of the sign, so what is the
I
sign?
don't know. It had the sign's not there yet.
Oh, okay, just the
I have
post.
an idea what it is for parking.
Permit parking, residential permit parking.
Oh, it's gonna be for permit parking, I'm informed by the safety.
But
committee.
anyhow, this thing leans to the west. It's not even placed in the yard right now. You're welcome to drive by and take a look at it. I'm not
Well,
exaggerating there.
The straightness can be addressed.
Yeah, you put a chain on the end. But what I want to happen is the pole be placed properly in the ground or removed permanently.
Thank you.
I think you're gonna have the pole because I think you want to put a sign on there about young people parking.
So you should have received a letter
I
late
did not
last week.
receive a
Okay,
letter.
let me finish. Let me finish,
Okay,
right? So you should have received a letter either at the end of last week or it should be here within the next day or two. That letter is from the Amaze Police Department. It's going to give you instruction as to what's going on the sign. And what the purpose is and what steps you can take to get the permit parking. It is indeed, as Mr. Hart was referring to, for permit parking to help restrict students from parking all over your street. By law, we have to place the signs in the right of way, so many feet apart. Otherwise, our police department can't enforce that ordinance that was adopted.
I understand
So,
that.
so you should be getting a letter within the next couple days.
Now, how about a sticker for me and my car?
It's going to give you, that's what we sent them to all the residents that on those streets. So you should be getting a letter in your mail. That's going to give you instruction as to how to get that sticker.
And I would hope that I would not have to part with any money for it.
Correct.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Anyone else with a public appeal? I'm sorry. What? Oh. Okay. Does anyone else have a public appeal? We have no one online? So we have no virtual guests. All right, so that leaves us to community minute. Does anyone have any? Oh, I'm sorry. For the record, Councilman Anders will not be here for a family engagement. Does anyone have a community minute to bring forward?
Just one little thing, this Saturday, oh, I can do that, but this Saturday, there's a ribbon cutting for Vibes Caribbean Cuisine at 1301 Chestnut Street, cutting the ribbon at 12 noon. If you want to come out, sample some food, whatever. We'll be there doing the ribbon cutting. And our family fun night was a success. I want to thank all my volunteers that were there that came out, participated, had some fun, served hot dogs. We served 200 hot dogs. And I think we had probably 350 people, maybe, at least somewhere around there. So it was a good night. I thank everybody that's here that attended. Thank you very much. And I'll start scheduling it for next year and we'll see what we come up with. So
And we would say that was K9 Ronnie's retirement party.
K9 Ronnie retired and K9 Leo actually started Friday. So yeah.
I was at the Canals Homestead event, the Peach Festival. The Strawberry Festival they had 38 vendors. They had 55 vendors for this and it was well attended. So just wanted to point that out.
I was also going to add that I attended that. Music. And it definitely was more substantial than it was last year. So they improved upon it, had more vendors, live music, I believe, as well as a DJ, and it's quite an event.
All right, anyone else? Hearing none, that brings us to our special presentation. Chief Price is going to have some presentations.
For everybody's awareness, on Saturday, June 24th at 3:15 in the morning, the Emmaus Fire and Ambulance were dispatched to an apartment building fire at 1025 Coldstream Circle. The crews working, who are here tonight to receive recognition, quickly responded to that. What they found was a 3-story apartment complex building that contained 36 dwelling units with a working fire on the lowest floor in the middle of the building. Very dangerous situation. They also had residents trapped on their 3rd floor balconies on multiple sides of the building. And in quick coordination with the police department, who was already on scene, the fire crew organized a plan where the police shared some responsibilities and multiple tasks were undertaken at the same time, with the fire crew making an aggressive fire attack to quickly bring the visible fire under control, allowing them time to continue the search of the building and evacuate residents. The police PD on scene, using fire department ladders, were able to get the people off of the balconies at that time. And this fire was eventually brought under control without the loss of life or serious bodily injury to anyone. The two on-duty ambulance employees that night who responded, seeing the magnitude of the incident, quickly established treatment, transport, and rehab sectors to take care of the firemen and the residents. We ended up with 2 civilian smoke injuries and 1 firefighter injury. They were all quickly treated, evaluated, and eventually transported expeditiously to Lehigh Valley Hospital, with our EMS staff coordinating with multiple agencies throughout the county who responded to take care of the injuries and provide services to the firefighters during the attack. Anyway, their efforts gracefully reduced my command concerns once I got on scene to help bring this dangerous situation quickly under control. And when I say dangerous, I would say for this community, this is maybe a once in every 10th decade event, a fire of this magnitude and danger. So with that, I would like the following employees to come up and receive a unit citation, not only for their individual efforts that night, but more importantly, their teamwork in working together to quickly bring this under control. So with that, would Captain Troy Robb come forward, Master Firefighter Jason Jasmine, Firefighter 2 EMT Jared Telechia, Paramedic Ryan Nelson, and Advanced EMT Lori Berry. Do you want to give this a copy? You look better on me. Captain Robb?
Thank you.
After Firefighter Jason Jasmine. Firefighter Jared Telechia.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
Oh, come on, open it up.
Oh, yeah, open it up.
Come on. So do I.
There we
You'll learn.
That way they can't spell his name wrong.
Ryan Nelson, paramedic. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. No, thank you. In Advanced EMT, Lori Berry. Hello.
Let's see if we can get a nice group photo. Group photo.
Everyone, come on back.
Better up here. It's better up here. It's better up here. Nice ball.
Let's make one comment before we start.
Yes, Mayor Gilbert would like to say a few words.
Chief, I want to thank you. You have an excellent staff.
He wants to make sure he hears that.
As I said, I want to thank you for your service to the community as well. Your staff is excellent. They did a phenomenal job that day. I know it's a team effort.
All that night that aren't here tonight, we recognize, I just recognized people that were first in.
Good, very good. The officer that the chief spoke about was Officer Tim Klein. His name is being submitted to the Police Chiefs Accommodation Committee, and we will know in November what the outcome of his recognition will be. So again, I'd like to recommend him for whatever they do. We do things different in the police department. It goes to the accommodation committee, so we'll see what comes back in November. So I want to thank him for his service as well.
Thank you, Mayor. That leads us to reading of the minutes. We had the July 17th council meeting minutes. Would somebody like to make a motion to approve the minutes? Councilman Dufresne, second by Councilwoman McManaman. I had a month off, so. Any corrections or additions? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? There are 6 ayes. Oh, and 5 ayes, 1 abstention due to not being here. All right, decisions on bids. We have 1 decision to make on a bid, and that's the full depth reclamation road project. And
Yeah.
there is a recommendation
Yeah.
to,
There's a reason we are selecting the second lowest bid on this one.
okay,
The original lowest bidder actually did not have one of their contractors as PennDOT certified. And based on my review of the RFP and the proposed bid documents, that was a requirement that their subcontractors receive that particular certification from DEP or from PennDOT. So in this case, we are forced to go to the second lowest bidder solely because of that. We had to disqualify the lowest.
and was the bid that was disqualified, they were all right with that, or does it look like it's gonna be an issue?
I don't know yet.
We don't know.
We
Okay.
haven't, it hasn't been awarded yet, so
Okay,
you could theoretically.
I didn't know if they were notified.
The problem we have is, if we do select it, then the other bidders could.
Yeah, then
be
it goes
quite
the
angry
opposite
as
way.
well.
Yep,
So
all right.
there's no
Um,
answer other than to choose this.
Well, based on what Jason said, there's a,
Chad had a question, it looks like.
What part of the process was this caught
In the bid review, right out of the gate,
right out of the gate?
right out of the gate. Yeah.
So I mean, the only other thing you could do is you could try to rebid the project to avoid this issue. You can reject all bids if you want to avoid any possibility.
well, I think we're on a timeline.
$4,000, well, actually 3,500. And if you reject and rebid, you don't finish the project this year. Quite honestly, they didn't meet the bid spec. I mean, that's the ruling by the solicitor. If you govern based on every possible litigation that could happen someday, you'd never be able to vote on anything. Our recommendation is to move forward with this.
And that's what I said as well. I mean, it's, ultimately it's $3,500 difference. I think that we certainly would be able to argue that this is the lowest responsible bidder based on that.
I think on the same token, if you said to go with the low bid, I think you'd have a legit challenge in court that you might not be able to defend.
If you read the papers, you will see that this occurs often in other municipalities where bidders fail to meet the specs of the public, and they are disqualified.
All right, based on the review of the bids, it was recommended for council award to contract Recon Construction Services Incorporated for a total bid amount of $246,018.35. Would somebody like to make a motion to approve that? Councilman Hart, seconded by Councilman Balliet. Any discussion on the bid? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed? There are 6 ayes. Under communications, we received a letter for the Halloween parade from Kathy Mintzer. Staff will handle that. There's something that we have to vote on there. The Emmaus Lioness Club / Lions Club, they have an event scheduled, the scarf shower that they've been doing for many years now. That will be handled by staff also. That's a recurring event. Do we need a motion to allow them to use the triangle because of the past, right? Emmaus Historical Society letter of appreciation for the items donated by the borough. A letter was sent to Shane I guess there's almost 3 pages of items that were listed. Do you want to maybe point some out, some highlights?
Stuff that we probably haven't seen in 25 years.
Are they photos or?
Yeah,
or
photographs.
Photos,
Old,
documents?
like old invoices from like the 1930s, 1940s, old ledgers from the 1920s, 1940s.
Interesting stuff, right?
Stuff that quite honestly should have been thrown out 40 years ago by the borough. But at this point it's historical, so why not give it to the Historical Society? We have absolutely no functional use for any of it, but if it's something that the Historical Society can display, then, you know, yeah, Brett first paid it. But why not? So we've given, you know, as we've gone through the many years of borough hoarding, we've given them a lot to look at. We had, for example, we had a nurses association based out of our building at one point, like many years ago, and we had photos down in the basement, hidden in the bottom of a box that we found as we were going through files 3 years ago. I mean, just things like that, again, unless you really want to go through boxes and boxes of files, nobody would ever even know they were here. So,
Mr. President, may I comment? So being on that board for the Historical Society, we've already framed some of the pieces and they're up. And there is one that is creating a little bit of conversation, and it's the audit, the financial audit of all of the departments in the early 30s and how much those budgets were. And it is really fascinating because of course it starts a conversation about, you know, budget and the community, but there are an awful lot of other items that people are asking about now. And it's really, it is like really a groundswell for us because we're getting a lot more people in just because of borough items.
yeah, and I would imagine as we continue to go through things, although I think it's a lesser and lesser amount now, but as we go through some things, I would imagine we're gonna have more to donate.
I mean, that's like digging out a time capsule essentially. So, all right. Thank you for pointing some of those items out. We received a letter of resignation from Amanda Achenbach. Do we have to take action on that? No. From the ambulance corps. We have no borough engineers report, solicitors report.
We already addressed the only item I have, and there may be some items in the executive session, but I have no report in progress.
Thank you. Under unfinished business part 1, we have our second reading of ordinance 1245. First reading was in July. It's an ordinance establishing floodplain areas in Emmaus Borough County, Lehigh County, Pennsylvania, regulation uses, activities and development, establishing prohibited activities and development, providing for permits, regulations, fees, and penalties for violations. Would somebody like to make a motion to approve ordinance 1245? Councilman Dufresne, seconded by Councilman Hart. Any questions on this? I think we brought up questions the first time was brought up. So this is a roll call vote. Councilwoman McManaman.
Aye.
Councilwoman Baumgartner. Councilman Ladenburg, aye. Councilman Dufresne.
Aye.
Councilman Hart.
Aye.
Councilman Balliet.
Aye.
There are 6 ayes. Ordinance 1245 passes on second reading. Under new business, we have ordinance 1246. This is for first reading. This is going to have second meeting in September, I'm assuming.
This is the parking lot. No, this will be the first meeting in September.
First meeting in September.
We need to ordain this.
Oh, we need to get it for time purposes. All right. An ordinance of the Borough of Emmaus, Lehigh County, Pennsylvania, amending chapter 15 subsection 602 or 601 and 602.2 of the codified ordinances, amending several sections of the Borough of Emmaus parking regulations. Would somebody like to make a motion to approve ordinance 1246? Councilman Hart, second by Councilwoman McManaman. Any questions or discussion on the parking? I have on page 2, if everyone could turn to that, under Jubilee Street parking spaces, 5th Street to 6th Street. All vehicles that utilize these spaces shall possess current motor vehicle inspection and insurance. vehicles shall remain parked in the same space for a period longer than 24 hours. This is the part that I think needs to be changed. Boats, recreation vehicles, trailers, and any vehicles larger than allotted marked parking space are prohibited from, never mind. I'm good.
Prohibited.
I didn't catch that at home. I did not catch that at home, because I was gonna say, if we don't allow it on the streets, why would we allow it there? So. I'm
So-
good. We're good.
So most of these just say no, like we're already in here.
Well, that was my
Yeah,
point,
yeah.
that it's already in the,
Yeah.
we can't do it on the streets. Never mind. So. Any other,
You had me freaked out for a second. I thought I saw something.
any other incorrect comments to bring forward?
Not incorrect comments, but maybe for the press to appreciate that embedded in here is we're no longer going to permit parking behind Borough Hall because of the new construction that is taking place. There's limited number of spaces there, and that will be limited to a play zone and a need for police.
Yeah, because of the police vehicles going in and out of there constantly is it?
Part of it's security too, because of the police vehicles being back there. All right. Roll call vote, Councilwoman McManaman,
Aye.
Councilwoman Baumgartner.
Aye.
Councilman Valiant.
Aye.
Councilman Hart,
Aye.
Councilman DeFrame,
Aye.
Councilman Labor, aye. There are 6 ayes, and we'll have that first reading, that second reading in the first meeting in September then. Ordinance 1247 is up for first reading. That one will be a second meeting?
Second meeting, yeah.
Okay. An ordinance of the Borough of Emmaus, Lehigh County, Pennsylvania, amending chapter 15, subsection 602.3.a of the Emmaus Borough Code, adding residential disabled parking sign and assigning permitted parking space on a public street located in front of the address of 629 Walnut Street within the Borough of Emmaus. Would somebody like to make a motion to approve ordinance 1247? Councilman Hart, seconded by Councilman DeFrame. Any discussion on this?
It's a straightforward request, and the Public Safety Committee did review all the documents provided by the applicant and their medical affidavits, and we felt it was in order and recommended to the Borough Council.
Thank you. Roll call vote, Councilwoman McManaman,
Aye.
Councilwoman Baumgartner, Councilman Valiant,
Aye.
Councilman Hart,
Aye.
Councilman DeFrame,
Aye.
Councilman Labor, aye. There are 6 ayes, and we'll have our second reading, second meeting of September. We have no unfinished business part 2. Items not on the agenda. Is that where we are? You know what? I didn't. Do we have it somewhere listed, or am I just bringing it out?
I don't think it's on.
Is it, maybe I need to,
I put them on.
maybe mine's not updated.
I updated mine, it's not there. On mine, it's not anyway. I think they got put into the proper committees.
Okay, let me find where it is in the committee, and I will bring it up that way.
Here's your addition.
Yeah, that was the email. Okay,
So we have one.
so- can I add the agendas
Hold on,
items?
hold on just a second. They should have done this at the beginning.
They didn't add it on yet.
They didn't add it on yet. They technically. Hold it on. Hold on.
There's still another public appeal.
That's on the agenda.
It wasn't originally on the agenda.
So we have to add it to the agenda and now redo the vote. All right.
So can I add both items in one motion or separately?
Well, I don't think we need, the second item, I think is already on there. Am I correct? Or
No,
is that-
no, you need to add them both on there.
Right, because
They
they weren't
weren't
on
done
the
24
original
hours.
agenda.
Oh, okay. If they were not done 24 hours.
So we need to
that's what you're saying.
revisit, we need to go back to the reclamation then afterwards. So,
Oh, okay.
So you can vote. now
We
you-
voted on the reclamation that originally was not on the agenda.
it wasn't on there within 24 hours, so we need to go back.
So we need to go back,
add it on.
amend the agenda. So let's first have a vote to amend the agenda on the reclamation project.
You can do them both.
You can do them both. adding them both
Okay,
to the
so we're
agenda.
gonna add a motion, have a motion to add full depth reclamation project award. The bid and the removal of the Recreation and Entertainment Commission member. Should I say the name?
No.
No. All right, so would somebody like to make a motion to add that to the agenda, which was not posted 24 hours in advance with that on? Councilman Balliet,
Make a motion to.
add it to the agenda.
Yep.
Second, Councilman Dufrain. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed? All right, so we had earlier. So is the first vote just null and void then?
Yes.
Okay,
Have
so
to
let's,
now revote.
let's go back to decisions on bids, full depth reclamation road project. That was recommended to award to Recon Construction Services Incorporated for a bid amount of $246,018.35. Somebody like to make a motion to approve it? Councilman Hart, second by Councilwoman McManaman. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed? There are 6 ayes, and as it was mentioned before, that was the second bidder. First one was disqualified. And then our second, we'll need a second motion to approve.
Well, you already did it.
You've already added it to the agenda.
We're gonna move that, that's gonna go down to the recreation committee.
We'll address it then, okay. So with that being said, does anyone else have anything to bring forward that's not on the agenda? Hearing none, Madam Mayor's report.
Thank you. You have my quarterly report. Other than that, I'll report progress.
Thank you. Committee reports. We have the Public Works Committee Chairman Anders is not here. In lieu of Chairman Anders' report, would you like to give it? Councilman Elliott?
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. The only official action today is the recommendation of not retaining 2 probationary employees.
You have to say their name.
We have to say their names?
Yeah.
Camilo Rodriguez and Scott Sell.
There's a motion on the floor. Is there a second? Councilman Dufrain, any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Those opposed? There are 6 ayes.
You're gonna see 2 meeting notes attached from our last 2 meetings. Our next meeting will be September 20th at 4 o'clock, and with that, I'll report progress.
Thank you. Health, Sanitation and Codes Committee Chairman Balliet.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have nothing for official action as ordinance 1245 was done in the beginning. Our July meeting notes are attached. Our next meeting will be August 30th at 4:45. With that, we'll report progress.
Thank you. Parks and Recreation Committee Chairwoman Baumgartner.
Thank you, Mr. President. We just added a removal of Recreation and Entertainment Commission member. I'm going to move this to our next meeting possible so that we can just investigate a few more details to the matter.
Oh, so we're not taking action tonight.
That is correct.
Okay.
I don't know how much we want to get
No,
into
that's,
this.
no, that's
But
fine.
I'll simply point out that something was raised today that we want to look into before any decision is made.
That's fine. Okay.
Other than that, we have nothing for official action. I report progress. Next meeting will be September 5th at 4:45 p.m.
Thank you. Public Safety Committee Chairman Hart.
Thank you, Mr. President. Two quarterly reports, both the police and the fire and EMS. Nothing outstanding on either one of the reports. I would mention that we, as mentioned earlier, it was reported that we are on track to institute the restricted resident parking in the expanded area around the high school, which is what Richard Musselman was talking about. Those signs are going up. Little delay in the signs in that they were printed wrong, not our fault. We'll be doing them. We'll have them shortly and up. Also noted in the police report was the EMS report was the transport service is increasing. That's due to the fact that the chief priest indicated that we have additional employees. So when we have the employees, we're able to run that service. It is a profitable service for us when we can do it. So we were happy to hear that. Moving on, FEMA grant for the ambulance corps. We're proud to announce that a FEMA grant for a LifePak 15 monitor and defibrillator was successfully received by the fire department. And it is for a total of the actual device is $44,272. The FEMA grant, this particular FEMA grant requires a 10% matching by the borough, which is a $4,024.73. So for the $40,000 that the government's giving us, we have to cough up $4,024.73. So with that, I'll make a motion that we agree to pay 10% additional to purchase the device.
Motion by Councilman Hart, second, Councilman Balliet. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Those opposed? There's 6 ayes.
Meeting notes of the 27th were included in the packet. Our next meeting is scheduled for August 31st at 9 a.m. via Zoom, and with that, I report progress.
Thank you. Under general administration, we have, well, I should say we need a motion to hire Gannett Fleming for the design phase of the PFAS work. This is for the PFAS Penvest Fund. And we need to approve this so that the grant can be awarded, I'm guessing.
Yeah, so this is, if I may,
Mhm.
we were already moving forward with Gannett Fleming to do the design work as we had previously talked about. However, we were able to work with Gannett Fleming and we're receiving approximately $36,000 for the design phase from Penvest through the PFAS fund. They do require a formal vote of appointment for us to have the specific engineer do the work. So even though they're already beginning the processes and have been doing the processes all along, we need to make a formal
Make it
appointment
official.
for these purposes.
All right, somebody like to make a motion for hiring Gannett Fleming for the design phase. Councilman Hart, second by Councilwoman McManaman. Any more discussion or questions? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed? There are 6 ayes. We have 2 sets of meeting minute notes. I also want to mention, I didn't see anywhere else in here, but we did receive another grant. I believe it was 25,000 for something. What was it for, Shane? Oh, sewer design or something, engineering work for sewer.
Maybe.
We received a grant of 25,000 towards the engineering work of the sewer project. So anyhow. We did. All right.
I might have told you.
Our next meeting is September 7th. I report progress. Budget and Finance Committee, Chairman DeFrank.
Thank you, Mr. President. The only item for action tonight is resolution 2023-23. The bill list resolved by Borough Council to authorize payment of the August 21st, 2023 bill list as follows. Bill list $1,382,232.28. Payrolls number 15 and 16, $394,223.66. Payroll taxes, $125,792.90, for a total of $1,902,248.84 done this 21st of August, 2023. And I put that in the form of a motion.
Motion by Councilman DeFrank to approve the bill list, second by Councilman Hart. Any questions on the bill list? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed? There are 6 ayes. It was Chris and then second by John.
And then you can see the significant revenue and expense in there. You can see the meeting notes from August 3rd and the 17th. Shane, we decided to cancel the budget and finance, right? Because I won't be around and you won't be around.
Right, I'll be in a meeting.
So the next budget and finance meeting will be Thursday, September 21st at 11 a.m. via Zoom. So I report progress.
All right, Community Relations Planning and Development Committee Chairwoman McManaman.
Thank you, Mr. President. We haven't had a meeting since our last council meeting, so nothing for official action tonight. Our next meeting is Monday, August 28th at 4:30 via Zoom and report progress.
Thank you. You have 3 sets of board meeting notes. Personal appeals part 2. Does anyone have a personal appeal that's here? Hearing none. Borough managers report.
Just one quick, word of caution to people is the Zoom bombers have returned. So, you know, like today, people come in 15 or 20 minutes into a meeting. Luckily, our security is tight on here, but they came in, spent about 2 minutes and probably realized they couldn't do anything and pop back out, but we did get one of our committee meetings had that experience the other day. Public Works got Zoom bombed the other day, so they're back and trying again. So just so you're aware, we'll tighten up the security again on the committee meetings. Second thing I want to announce is we hired Ryan Malik as a part-time EMT. And I'm extremely excited to say, well, actually both of these, because hiring EMTs and hiring auxiliary police officers are both don't happen often. So we also hired Gerald Brown Jr. And he came highly recommended by the chief as an auxiliary police officer. And we might have another auxiliary police officer that we'll be hiring in the next month as well. So we're in the background process on that individual. He interviewed very well. We just need to run all the background information and we hopefully in September we'll have a recommendation for that hire too. So other than that, you have an executive session today. If any questions, please feel free to ask. Otherwise, I'll report progress.
Thank you. President's business. It's cooling off a little and getting into football season. So with that, we'll go into executive session for personnel and real estate. And will there be any action with no action to be taken afterwards? So we'll go into executive session at 6:44. And we will. We're reconvening at 7:39. Is there a motion to adjourn? Councilman Hart, is there a second? Councilman Balliet? All those in favor say aye. Aye. There's 6 ayes. Meeting adjourned at 7:40.
You never get the motions.
What's that?
No, sure.
Go ahead and just hit the recording.
I
Hit stop.
wanted to
Hit stop.
make sure he got in the camera.